depression. Tonya Ingram
Yep.
is a poet, Cincinnati native. Shout out to amazing poets coming out of Ohio. Tonya Ingram is a poet, Cincinnati native, Bronx-bred introvert, mental health advocate, kidney transplant hopeful, Lupus legend, cat auntie, the best cat auntie, and lover of Tom Hardy and The Office. Tonya has graced the stages of the Getty Museum, Madison Square Garden, San Francisco Opera House, Nuyorican Poets Café. Yo, this bio is long because it's all private stuff. Everything from Lexus Verses and Flow to The Price is Right, y'all. Tonya has been on the pages of the New York Times, Vice, Bustle, Marie Claire. Come on, the accolades. BuzzFeed, a friend, a creative, a daydreamer, and a Virgo. Tanya's writing explores the necessity in taking care of ourselves, especially on the days we feel unworthy. She is a graduate of NYU, and Otis College of Art and Design, and Tonya currently resides in Los Angeles. I'm so happy. She's my neighbor. I just want to put a little plug. Y'all, this person right here, this bio is stellar. It's one of my favorite ones. But at the same, I just want y'all to know Tonya is a quiet rumble. A force to be reckoned with, just such a beautiful, just quiet storm. And when Tonya speaks on a mic, something changes within my spirit, and I hope it changes in yours today. So y'all, without further ado, because I know she won't be like, Alicia, stop making me so awkward, y'all. Give it up for Tonya Ingram.
Hello everyone. Sorry for the very long bio. Thank you, Alicia, for inviting me to this. Thank you, Street Poets, for having me. I am one addition to the bio is that I'm no longer a cat auntie. I'm also a cat mom.
Hey!
Congratulations! Thank you. She's great. I miss her all the time. If I'm completely honest, I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm also just a little, I don't think overwhelmed is the word, but I'm here and I'm not here, if that makes sense. But I'm grateful to be here. I think I really need to be here. So thank you all for being in this space as well. And before I begin, I would love if we can all take a collective breath together, if that's okay. Just inhale, exhale. Inhale for the news, your health, the breakup, the person that cut you off in traffic, whatever it is. You can inhale that in, and then on the exhale, just let it go for these next few minutes while we're in this space together. Is that okay? So inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Thank y'all. Okay, so I'm super, super quirky, and I used to say awkward, but now I'm just gonna embrace strange. I'm very, very strange, and I'm okay with that. So please, I hope that's okay with y'all. And I'm going to start with a poem that is not my own poem, but is a poem that is quite literally my favorite poem on earth, because it saved me many, many times. So I'm going to start with that and go from there. Is that all right?
Go ahead.
Won't You Celebrate With Me by Lucille Clifton. Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. A list of things that tried to kill me but failed. Being 12 and the travel of his hands. The psychiatric hospital I checked into, Lupus strangling my good kidney. The ex, his reasons for his small love, the doubt, the panic attack at 10. Poisonous men I have inhaled, the car striking me back to the sidewalk, being told my black is an ugly star. The father I have yet to name, lonely and its stronghold, depression and its kin. This country, each arisen to quit, to close the blinds and cancel the sun, but I am the daughter of raised fist. I am the work learning how to be done. I am afraid and brilliant and necessary. I am a black woman running into her own amen, so I say, be good to you. Be good to the sky that hangs above your head. Be good to the poems, a tool in hand, a buoy for all troubled waters. Be good to the espresso unsettled in your tummy. Be good to the heartbreaks and apology from his thin lips. Be good to the friends you misplaced time with. The ant finding path on your skin. The vibes you catch somewhere on Melrose. Be good to the wine painted on your toes. The sweet cat you call home. The headphones escape your box braid shimmer. Be good to the wild thoughts like, damn, I look good. Like, damn, I might mess around and catch my own feelings. Like, damn, I might set myself free. Y'all, I wore the wrong outfit today. It is hot. So if you see like some sweat stains, just ignore it. Okay. All right. To be a black woman in a diseased body is its own kind of magic. To be a black woman in a diseased country is the vanishing act. Questions for the day after a mental breakdown. Have you ever been angry with God? Have you ever belonged to a body? Have you ever been a body you don't belong to? Have you ever been yours, been ill, been a witness at your own funeral, cleaned house and still missed a spot? Have you ever sat in a bed and denied mourning? Was it in a hospital? Was it in a hotel with a body you do not know? Was it home? Have you ever missed a mother who is still alive? Are you still alive? Where is your father? Is he God? Where is the wound? Does it have a pulse? What is lupus? Can it peel skin like a ripe orange? Can it make you forget who you are? Is it a body in war with itself? Are you at war with your kidneys? With the men who do not stay? What is strength? Does it keep an address? When was your first kiss? Did it matter? Did it hurt? The needles, the IV, the chemo, the dialysis, the catheters, the doctor with bad news, the TV with bad news. Will it get better? Does better have a name? Is it a body? Is it yours? Will it arrive tomorrow? Can you hold on until then? I stopped biting my nails for a few months. It was nice to watch something grow on me. Like the time my hair came back after all of the chemo made love to it, swirled in my veins like a last dance. Death is not scary to me. Watching a spider move across the floor is. It's all of that movement on all of those legs. Where are you going? I too am afraid of going. In the mirror, I twerk like Tina Belcher. Notice the stretch of skin river up my thighs. I am mostly water, says the body. I am failing, says the kidneys. I am still here, says my joy. Joy is the sound of July in the Bronx, where fire hydrants become waterfalls, the youngins, the black and brown of them bellowing like newly shined trumpets in the sun. Joy is the night crust of a Joy is the night dust of a crowd, the sweet mouth of a boy with skin like tangerine. It is the initial devourer into your favorite burger, and the juices runneth over like the burger gods heard your extra cry for more pickles. It is the Destiny's Child hit single Bills, 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 and it is 1999 and you are 8 and completely clueless as to what a bill actually is. Joy is a gushing field of dandelions and you are a spring dress asking to be taken with a howl. It is taking off your bra after a long day's work. It is each time Lupita Nyong'o takes a photograph. It is the small things. The extra fries at the bottom of the bag. The 50% off sale with no exclusions. The nail not chipping. Each time you drop your phone and there is no crack. The bass of your grandmother's laughter. Cardi B getting her entire life. Going through checkout and your card not being declined. A hot shower. Someone to text. Stretching your back. Making no time for the bullshit. The brows. No longer sisters but twins. The dinner you don't have to pay for. The DJ playing the one song you've been singing all day. Making it home safely. The symptoms finally quiet. The doctor with good news. The doctor with good news. I apologize, I lost that. Woo! Next record, the doctor with good news. As to yourself, it is the small things. A construction of hope. A house of abundance. Everything good greeting you at the door and welcoming you home.
Let's go.
So a lot of my work is dedicated to mental health as well as physical health. When I was 22 years old, I was diagnosed with lupus, which is a chronic illness where the body is attacking itself essentially. Over time, I've changed that definition for the body and I are just having communication issues. So I'm learning how to listen to my body. But during this kind of dealing with any kind of just chronic illness, it really kind of makes you think about death in a very different way, define it and understand it very differently. So this poem is after Jessica Salgado's poem at my funeral. At my funeral, after Jessica Salgado. At my funeral, ask Cuban to DJ and Alicia to make a pot of spaghetti. Put Curtis in a bow tie and leave Jackson alone. Recite Won't You Celebrate With Me by Lucille Clifton and repeat the last line. Once for every trauma that nearly killed me before my time, come as you are. In the pajamas you woke up in or the last thing you thrifted, talk about how much I love to fart. I really do love to fart, you guys. I won't fart while I'm up here, I promise. And ask Alicia about the night we got kicked out of a movie theater. Ask Alicia about her heart, how it saved me from taking my life. Let Shihan give my eulogy so he can spoil the ending. And if there are tears, let them come from the days my body was not fatigued and high blood pressure. For goodness sake, make sure Avengers Infinity War is playing in the background and tell my mom I stayed long enough to watch the credits roll.
Come on.
Invite my ex-lovers. Tell them it wasn't wasted time to fold into each other. Let there be spades playing and fried chicken eating and double dutching and weed smoking, and let there be a slideshow of my every failed attempt at twerking where I nearly broke my back but not my spirit. Let there be spirit. Henny for Jasmine and Martinelli's for the ghost. Speak of my joy, how it came in waves on a surfboard. Don't say lupus or depression or kidney disease or things that rhyme with dying. I was more than that. I was the tallest building on earth. I was a sunflower behind my left ear. I was a working organ. Let there be lungs bursting with Sweet Caroline and Bohemian Rhapsody. Bury me with my insecurities, the moon face swelling, the too much heart giving, the last hospital visit, someone tell a joke, or spit a 16, or JP can play the guitar and Justice can rap on beat. Stay for as long as you'd like. You don't have to go home or grieve. At my funeral, today is no day of death. today is not about me. So I'm like recently single. But I say that to say last year was really, really tough for me in terms of heartbreak. And I'm grateful to be here kind of healing from that, but it also kind of made me think about what is it that I want in love, and what is love, and how do you love somebody, who's dealing with an illness, so I want to see this poem for that.
Oh.
To be in love with another is to be an open door. To be in love with yourself is to be the whole damn house.
Let's go.
The saddest thing is not the diagnosis. How my body swelled like a loaded cannon, not the IV sunk into blood already shipped. Not the girl who could not name the days of the week, whose mind was camped for anything blurred. It is not how I call death a magnificent friend. Told him to take me where he finds rest, that I may know air beyond a hospital, or the silence of another thing wrong with me. No, the saddest thing is the body void of love. For then, and only then, do you go missing. For the next lover, there will be days I forget the measurement of my worth. Days I will dive into the softest parts of myself. Will you know to hold my hand and play Janis Joplin until weeping becomes the echo? Will you know Lunchables and hand-holding makes the heavy a noiseless song? There will be days I string together memories of the most ugly kind. Memories of ex-lovers with sharp tongues. Memories of those who touched without consent. Will you know to hold me like the world is ending? Like we met under a meteorite with seconds to spare. There will be days my body is not mine. It will need repair. It will need chemo. It will need rest. Will you run your fingers through my hair while it falls out? Will you trace my bad days and call it patience? Will you love me and love me and love me better than the last mistake I made? I will wait for you. But until then, I give myself this magic. This love I call my own. Well, I have about 3 more poems left. And I just want to say thank you, because I really feel like I needed this. Sometimes I just kind of get in my head and I stay there. And there's something so beautiful about this art form that truly is healing. And it's healed me since I was 19 and I'm 30. And it's still doing that. So I just want to say thank you for being in this healing space.
Thank you, Tonya.
Alright. This next poem is a shorty, but it's entitled How to Be Strong. How to be strong. Don't. Be a hot mess. An ugly cry in the emergency room, the 3rd rejection letter this week. Ruin your makeup while weeping over the unpaid parking ticket, the overdue phone bill. Download Tinder immediately after the ex you met on Tinder leaves you. Borrow a shoulder to lean on and a Spotify playlist to lose your voice to. Find a bubble bath after dialysis. Find a cute dog after an anxiety attack. Find your name after you were called out of it. Write a love poem to the day you could not get out of bed. Laugh at the negative balance in your bank account. Be bold about your fears, about the diagnosis, about the day you thought you would not make it. Strength is an occupation, a marigold in dust, a thing we cannot see when the world is ending, but a reminder we keep when we survive long enough to see that it has not. Woo! All right, y'all. So this next poem, I will preface by saying it's pretty heavy. I always want to make sure that we're comfortable and safe here. So just trigger warning of suicidal ideation. And yeah, so just wanted to say that before I start this poem. But it is an open letter to my depression. If I can find all the pieces. It's here. Okay, all right. And it starts with a quote. That's one of my favorite quotes from the late Robin Williams. I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make people happy because they know what it's like to feel absolutely worthless, and they don't want anyone else to feel like that. Robin Williams. An open letter to my depression. Yesterday, I cried enough to name myself the sad girl again, waiting for any boy again who is ignorant to the splendid pace of my run. How my love is sometimes a coward, and after that, 13 men becomes another number. And after that, lonely develops a sex and an authority, and after that, my thoughts are family, always fussing about the wrong I have done, about the pretty I burned. What I learned of sadness is from you. You, childhood friend. You, midnight back talk, got all the answers right. Hold my wrist and this blade right. You want these veins, this blood, a red river I cannot swim in. You met me, 12-year-old weeping. You met me, 12-year-old molested. You unseen leech, unknown father find, nearest ledge, say, walk out, say, suspend, say, wouldn't I be happier dead? You slick tongue, animal of gossip, Golden Gate Bridge, train station platform, my mother's good knife, loving you got me sick, got me suicide watch, got me blue pill. You tell me boy won't love me, but a fasting rope pen. You tell me lupus is incurable, can't have 7 children, can't be hospitalized 3 times in 1 year and call that healing. You a contradiction, a house of lies. Sickness can do that, you know. It can lie, it can claw, reverse the body until it is fickle. Until my fear grows fangs, it will rattle in the dark, and truth be told, my sadness is a sour bullet, a spiraling bloom. It will not cease, it will not quiet, and I am afraid to die. Depression is a house of teeth. It will write you into a story without rest. It will pin you, comb your mouth into a haunting, and name it a vacant wilderness, but dare yourself, extraordinary human, to run into unbolted joy screaming, you cannot have me, you cannot have me. I am not my past, I am not yesterday's shame. I am worthy of love, I am worthy. I forgive the people who are not strong enough to believe in me. I am kicking into the sky like it is the only way up. Yeah. Woo! Thank you all for sitting with me, for being present with me in this moment. As I feel a lot of feelings, and I think we all are. Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
If anyone wants to teach me how to twerk, I will love you eternally. It's so great. This last poem is entitled I Am 22. When I was diagnosed with lupus, I was 22. I'm 30 now, so that was about 8 years ago. I wrote this poem while I was in the hospital, and not thinking I would make it out of the hospital. So I'm grateful to still be here. There's this amazing quote from one of my favorite television shows, Ozark. Didn't really care for season 4, but we don't have to talk about that. In season 3, there's a moment where one of the characters, Buddy, is talking to Wendy, and he says, you know, when you think you were going to die yesterday, today is sweet. And so I really didn't think I would be here dealing with so much. And so today is sweet despite the world. Today is sweet. So I'm going to end with this. Thank you all for having me. You can find me on the interwebs and all of that good stuff. I do love people. I may be like awkward and strange, but that's the vibe. So just be my friend. Okay, this is I'm 22. I was 22, rocking the latest 85. Always down for a diner. Thrift shop educator. 8 Mile enthusiast. Cincinnati Bengals fan when and if it will ever matter. Kendrick Lamar's hand in matrimony. The epitome of hashtag that awkward moment when. Angela Bassett's bestie, hater of all things Hollister, a Gryffindor or Ravenclaw, but never the Hufflepuff, the embodiment of Olivia Pope as Patronus. I was in love with the boy and his hand-stitched guitar, his odd-stitched heart, harmonizing in the key of lonely. I am mother's water broke in church pew, father's lost letter, daughter he will never meet. I am scared to be black. I am proud to be black. I have never seen The Notebook, but have rewatched every installment of Friday. I have metaphors that boost my street cred because all I want in life is to rap under the alias Tyrannosaurus Rex. I am a in an open flood, swimming in the junkyard of the most sacred drowning. I am a girl still learning God. Lupus is an autoimmune disease. This means immune cells in the body that usually destroy viruses begin attacking healthy parts of the body, such as skin, blood cells, kidneys, heart, and brain. The cause of lupus is not known. Common symptoms include a butterfly-shaped rash across the bridge of the nose, sunlight sensitivity, arthritis, fatigue, or depression. There is no cure for lupus, but most people can lead normal, active lives with proper care. I am diagnosed, but have rewatched every installment of Friday because all I want in life is to rap under the alias Lupus is an autoimmune daughter he will never meet, a thrift shop virus. This means the cells in the body are scared to be black. Other parts of the body, such as skin, blood cells, kidneys, heart, and brain are always down for a diner. The cause of lupus is not known. Common symptoms include harmonizing in the key of lonely and the embodiment of Olivia Pope as Patronus. I am in love with sunlight sensitivity, swimming in the junkyard of fatigue that usually attacks and hates all things Hollister. I am a Gryffindor who began attacking the normal parts of my body for never seeing The Notebook. The butterfly-shaped rash across the bridge of the nose is depression. I am proud to be mother's water broke in church pew, the epitome of hashtag there is no cure. I am 30 years old, rocking the latest lupus. Common symptoms are metaphors that boost my odd-stitched kidneys, stunning blood cells, wrecking brilliance of a brain, still heart, good skin. Most people can lead normal, active lives without cure, with proper care, in an open flood, where the most sacred drowning is the girl who is still learning God. Thank you.
Yes, I'm good. Cool. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for having me. You kept saying strange, and I respect you taking that on. It's a good thing. I think you're funny. I think you're hilarious. I was in the back, everybody was laughing. And I love that I find humor everywhere in your poems. Like there's a lot of realness and a lot of different themes within each poem. Do you do that on purpose? Is there a certain thing that you always have to have in your poetry?
So I will say it's definitely changed over the years. I think when I first started writing, when I was like 19, 18, I didn't use very much humor. It was very serious. But I feel like over time, I realized like you need that as well. That like, my favorite thing that I've been saying lately is that taking a break from healing is also healing. So finding humor or finding joy in these moments as well, I think also deserve to live in my poetry. So, you know, living with a chronic illness, it can be very serious, but I like to still find the humor in that. It's dark humor, but it helps me, you know, get through that. So just finding joy and putting that into my work has been, not just for my poetry, just a life philosophy as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah, y'all can clap, snap, show love, show all the love. I'm gonna ask maybe 1 or 2 questions, and then we can open up for 1 or 2 questions from the audience. My second question is there a certain environment or place that you have to be in order to get into that groove of writing?
A lot of my inspiration comes when I'm on the toilet, which is highly unfortunate. Isn't that? It's just the worst
I don't
timing.
think it's unfortunate at all.
Because I don't have anything with me, and you know, and I was going to say something inappropriate, but I just have nothing but my poop, you know, and you can't really use that to write a poem. But that's really where the inspiration strikes, when I'm doing something that's quite mundane or just like So finding those moments to just be intentional. But when I sit down and write is kind of hard. But usually the toilet, usually on the couch if I'm watching a television show. I'm really inspired by TV and music. So if I'm listening to music or watching something on TV, or inspired by a certain scene in a TV show, that usually strikes something up.
Is there a song or an artist that you have in mind that you put on and inspires you?
Right now, because it changes every day, literally right now, it's Beyonce's Break My Soul, which people are probably tired of hearing it by now, but that's the one that's really getting to me. And that, anything by RuPaul, honestly, is really good. When I was 18, it was definitely Eminem, but that's changed, thank God.
I mean, it is what it is. You know, whatever inspires you, inspires you.
It's definitely, The Rock has this amazing song that I'm also inspired by.
I didn't know The Rock made music, so, there's a request.
It's about drive, it's about power. You stay hungry, you devour, put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours. Oh Lord. That's it. That's okay. No, that's okay. I'm a poet for a reason. That's okay.
Oh my gosh, now I gotta look it up. Last question, and then we can open it up. Is there, in between you reading your poems, you mentioned that writing is healing, and I think we can all agree that we find a lot of healing in writing, but sharing it is one thing. Is there a person or who or what inspired you to start sharing your writings?
Wow, that's a great question. I first started sharing my poetry when I was at church. This was when I was in high school, and I just seeing this person on stage and being able to express very powerfully her thoughts was really inspiring for me. I am naturally a very introverted, soft-spoken person, and I find my power in sharing poetry. And so seeing that as just someone being on a stage, that was my first just kind of spark. And then I went on to slam and do all of that. That continued to give me a voice. But yeah, just seeing this woman on stage, just powerful. I was like, oh, I can do that, I can be heard. So that was my first moment. And then, honestly, my little brother put me on to slam poetry. He introduced me to Def Poetry Jam, and that's where I saw Shihan for the first time. And I was like, oh wow, that's cool. And then so that's where that came from.
Woo. I lied, I have one more question. And then we'll open it up. Is there a favorite place that you've performed at before?
There's so many answers to this question, but honestly, I think my favorite time is when I went to visit my grandma in Cincinnati. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. Go Bengals! We finally made it to the Super Bowl. But I went to see my grandmother, and she's never seen me perform live. But I did show her a video of one of my performances, and I just played it for her. And she just started crying. And I don't talk to my family much about my work, and they don't really, I think, completely understand what I do. But to see that still translated in her and like to have her have that response, I think is my favorite performance because, yeah. So I miss her dearly. She's like a mom to me. So to like have her like receive my work meant the world. It means the world. Can you say her name? Her name is Tonya Ingram.
Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing her into the room.
So we're gonna open it up to the room. So if you have a question, one question, you want to get different voices. So I can pass the mic to whoever has a question. Oh,
I can answer it for you.
Alicia, you're amazing.
Anybody have a question? Keep raising your hand, I'll bring the mic to you.
Have you ever had that moment where you were saying your piece and like you kind of forget that you're actually in front of other people?
That happened today.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's sometimes it's me just remembering to be present. That's something that like I do struggle with. Sometimes I dissociate and I just kind of check out, and that's such a coping mechanism for my survival over time, dealing with health, just dealing with my own stuff. So sometimes I just check out, but in those moments I'm working on reminding myself to be present, that there's something really powerful and just checking back in, tapping it back into my body, into my spirit. So it happens often for me, but I know it's a coping thing. It's my way of healing and stuff. So yeah, it happens.
So a lot of your poetry is like centered around health. So are there moments where something may trigger your health that will cause you to write more, or maybe cause you to write less? Or how does that flow for you? Is there like a relationship between your art and the health process?
That's a great question, thank you. Yes, so I tend to, yes and no. The poems, the I Am 22 poem I wrote because I needed to process or understand what was happening in my health. Is this going in and out? Okay, no, okay. So I wrote that poem to process, to understand. But also over time, I've allowed myself to just live. I think living with a chronic illness, there's so much happening all the time that I need to be able to just live the process and not just run to the page so fast sometimes. So it really depends. Lately, I've just been allowing myself to be. My mantra for this year is that I want a life of ease, of softness, of rest, of joy, and that sometimes means not writing, because my writing is often tied with my work, my job, productivity, and that's great, but I also need to rest. My body is literally telling me, hey, you need to rest, we need a kidney, we need all of these things, so take it easy. So that's the blessing and curse of living with lupus. The blessing is that it's taught me so much about what it means to be alive and what it means to take up space and to listen to my body and to give it that space that it needs. So.
So I have a question. Hey, so do you ever get nervous before performances, and if so, how do you deal with the nerves?
All the time. Yes, I get nervous every single performance. A part of me believes that my nervousness feeds me. It just reminds me of why I do this. It reminds me that I care about it. I try not to let it overpower me though, instead of trying to channel it. So if I find myself like shaking, like up here my leg was shaking, what's going on? So I just kind of anchored my foot and grounded myself and used that to kind of maybe work through my voice. So just finding ways that when my body's like okay, we got this, like I'm in control, we're powerful, those affirmations, and kind of go from there.
We can take a few more questions. Anyone else? I saw a few more hands up. Oh, this row right here is happy. Okay, let's just go down the road.
Okay, so I just wanted to know what is like the hope and future for like your poetry in regards to like the direction and like what you write about. You write a lot about like health and stuff, which is amazing stuff, but beautiful poetry. So what do you hope to like experiment with in the future and stuff, if anything at all?
I love this question. So my dream, ultimate dream is to create a TV show. entitle it Moonface, which is actually the name of my next book. Moonface is the terminology for people, usually with a chronic illness, specifically lupus. Our faces swell up like the moon due to steroids and such. And so I wanted to write a book, but really a TV show about what it's like to be a young Black woman dealing with a chronic illness. I don't see that on my TV. I don't hear that story being told. And so I would love to use my poetry in that direction. So yeah, TV shows, continuing to write books, and just continuing to just be alive, you know? Yeah. Again, I think I want to live the poetry, you know? I love writing, it will always be with me, but I really just want rest and ease. Like, that's something I'm striving for, to not just to do, but to just be, because I need that. Also, you know, I'm looking for a kidney out here in these streets, so if you know somebody with an extra kidney, you know, let me know. but that's about it.
Hello. What advice would you give to your past self, specifically when you were writing your first poem?
That's so great. Because not only do I want to give myself advice for that poem, I want to give her advice for life, you know, wherever she was, that earlier version of myself. But for poetry, I definitely want to say, you're right where you need to be. I feel like during that time, I felt like I needed to rush, I needed to be the best, I needed to do all of these things, but I was literally exactly where I was supposed to be to get to where I'm at right now. So there's no need to rush, there's no need to compete with the person next to you, you know, that where you are is truly where you're meant to be, and that I was more powerful than I actually believed. I did not believe in my power when I was 18. I'm a little better at it at 30, like 25%, but it's okay, we have a life to go to figure it out. But yeah, believe in your power and to not rush.
Do we have one or two more? One or two more questions? Anyone? Looking around, make sure I'm not missing anyone. Yes? Oh, I knew it. Should know. Here we go. I think this is our last question, and then we'll do a little dance break and kick off our open mic.
I saved my question for the bonus round. But wonderful work tonight, Tonya. And I just want to give you one more round of applause for your work. It was absolutely beautiful. All your answers to all the questions are like absolutely wonderful. But I guess, you know, I think so much of the time, and you spoke a lot about it today, about how the work that you create, it is like, it's a work, it's your life's work, right? Which is really, really a beautiful thing. But I guess the question I want to ask is like, if your work was some type of seed, what do you hope that it blooms into? And it doesn't have to be a plant, it could be anything you want it to be.
I was gonna say something silly, but say it. I have a serious answer and then the silly answer. The silly answer is, I was watching the Versus battle with Omarion and Mario. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you've seen it, there was a moment where Omarion took a watermelon and ate it very inappropriately, and moving on. But I was gonna say watermelon for that reason, but I'm not. Okay, but the serious answer, man, that's such a good question. Do seeds make trees? Okay. I would love to be have it be a willow tree, because there's something really beautiful about how they kind of fall over, and I don't really have a more eloquent answer than I just love the way willow tree looks.
I have two more questions now. I think I can do this all day. I'll start with a kind of fun question. Who would you cast in this Moonface show? Dream cast.
Oh, my mind is full of memes. I keep thinking of this Viola Davis meme when she's playing Michelle Obama, and she makes that face. But no, not that. Okay, I would love. Who would I want to play me? Damn. I would, myself. Honestly, I'm really going to feel like the role. I think I would play myself. Yeah, I hope I would do a good job, honestly.
I think you would.
Who can play you better than you? Yeah, exactly.
And my last question is there a poem you're nervous to write?
Oh my goodness.
Yes. There's a poem that I want to write to my mom that's really, I'm struggling to write. We just have a pretty complicated relationship, and I just want to say a lot to her. So yeah, that I think I would write it to her.
Y'all clap it up.
Here we go.